Welcome everybody to another episode of Aledius Sports Talk. I am your host, Enrique Aledius. We're going to take a look now into the Thursday night football game between the Colts and the Broncos. The Colts coming off of a loss against the Titans, and the Broncos coming off of a loss against the Raiders. So right now it's being reported that Russell Wilson is expected to play, but Jonathan Taylor for the Colts has been ruled out. So this could be really bad for the Colts, as he is like the go-to guy for them, and they haven't had like much consistent success with other guys. I know Jelani Woods is out there. The few times they do, like with Jelani Woods, like I was just saying, it seems like they don't use him that much, which is kind of weird. I hopefully they'll change that, but we'll touch on that a little bit in a second here. But looking first at the Broncos, obviously they lost Javonte Williams, unfortunately, due to a really bad injury. And as of right now that I'm making the video, Melvin Gordon is questionable, but his offensive coordinator seems to point that he will start for Thursday. So that could be good. That could be interesting because he is a guy that the Broncos are going to look to carry the load, with Javonte Williams being out. And right now I think Russell Wilson is struggling a little bit to get into rhythm. I mean, you have Nathaniel Hackett, new head coach. There's just a bunch of things for the Broncos to figure out this early in the season, and they have time. Maybe look to Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton to take more targets, hopefully. They just need more production. Either way, they just have to. It has to come from somewhere. And I don't expect Russ to be rushing a bunch, given that he is banged up. And honestly, he hasn't really been rushing like he used to for a lot. He did have that one scramble touchdown last game, I think. But for the most part, it's one of those things where, they talk about let Russ cook or whatever. It's been a different kind of Russell Wilson. And maybe it's due to, I don't know, could it be due to the fact that it's a different scheme he's playing with, or maybe as he's kind of getting maybe older in age a little bit, he's trying to become just a little bit more of that sit in the pocket passer. But I don't know, we'll see. And again, it's early, so we'll see how it turns out against this Colts team, which they are also struggling on their own. We'll see. Will the Broncos rely more on the run game? Will they find a way to utilize more of their receivers there? We'll find out. Now moving on to the Colts side, they also have a lot of things to figure out in terms of production on their end and how they're going to move the ball. It was covered a bunch on the Pat McAfee show, which I watch every day. I love that show.
How you doing? Keep it moving.
I really agree with Pat's take where they really have to use their weapons. Colts had Jelani Woods last game, or not last game, but the game before, scored 2 touchdowns. And then yet now in the game against Titans last game, he only had one reception, I think, and he wasn't even targeted that much. You would think that with the Colts team, for the most part, that other teams are expecting the Colts to run Jonathan Taylor every game. He's out this upcoming game, but when they're all healthy, they're expected that, okay, Jonathan Taylor's going to run, so protect against the run. You would think that when the Colts have another weapon, that they would use it, right? When they see a guy who, huge dude, Jelani Woods, big dude, tight end, gets production for you, why not build your game plan around him, or even include him more so in the game plan and not just limit him to one target? It's a weird thing. Again, I'm not the most educated football dude here. I'm not trying to be, but I just kind of want to call out what I see, and what I saw was they didn't really target him that much. So we'll see how they look this game. Maybe they'll show a different look. I think that's going to be a key to them having success, is having the ability to show a different look on maybe each drive they have and not being so predictable to the Broncos. Pat Surtain with the Broncos did do a good job shadowing Devontae Adams last game, and so I'd imagine that he's going to be used on top targets, maybe on Mo Alley Cox, Jelani Woods if he's become more of a factor in the game, and definitely I think on Pittman as well. So this is a game for the Colts to really get back on track. I think they're running into a Broncos team that they're struggling with not a lot of depth on the offensive side of the game, and this is a game where the Colts can really improve the record. It's almost a game where you would think they would have to win, just in terms of a lot of expectation put on them. They haven't really gotten off to a good start. A lot of money to the guys on offense there, Matt Ryan, the O-line, and it's just, I don't know, you watch the Colts and sometimes you feel like they just aren't really there. They'll have spurts here and there, but overall like halfway or 3/4 into the game, you're not even surprised that they're not winning. You know, Matt Ryan will fumble the ball, he does get sacked a bunch, which is talked about, you know, a lot, and he might have to hold on to the ball a little more in those situations. But I think just in terms of, you know, it's hard to compare it with like a team like the Chiefs or the Ravens or whatever, but like, I don't know, even compared to the Jaguars, right? The Jaguars also have the sense of who they are, what they're going to do, and they execute, right? I think the Colts, it's like, what's the tight end's role in this drive? What's the, you know, what are they trying to do here? Like, how are they trying to look at the defense that's presented to them and then try to, you know, use their weapons against it? It just seems like a lot of people moving in different directions sometimes, and Matt Ryan sometimes trying to make a play. There was one drive one first play, I think of the Titans game, where I think Pittman was on the flat and he tried to throw, and it was just either the throw was off or Pittman just didn't really get to where he needed to be.
Ryan with a couple of fakes, so release it to Pittman. That will be...
It's one of those things where, like, you know, what's happening a little bit? You're kind of asking yourself, like, what's happening? Like, are they on the same page, right? Like, between each guy, the QB, Matt Ryan, and all of them, like, where are they? So we'll see if they can figure it out. Again, it's only week 4, or we're only week 5, and hopefully, you know, they take advantage, because I think they just have to take advantage of these type of situations where their opponent is a little shorthanded. You know, I'm going to look to see how the game plan adjustments that Frank Reich makes for this one. I'm really interested to see, just from an overall perspective. And again, I'm not the most, you know, well-educated football dude. I'm trying to get there, but I want to just see from a casual fan's perspective, like, how are they matching up against a different style of defensive play in the Broncos. I think right now, in terms of picks, I think I'm going to side with the Broncos. I have to say that I'm not the most confident in this pick, so keep that in mind. Honestly, I don't know if you should lay money on it. I just think, for me, I'm gonna, if I had to pick, and my pick for this game, it's gonna be the Broncos money line, just because I haven't really seen, again, I haven't seen a consistent drive-to-drive game from the Colts. And I think the Broncos have played better teams, even in their losses. I just don't know, like, the Colts, I don't feel like they've shown me their identity and how they want to play the game. So it's hard for me to trust who's going to show up for them game to game in terms of who's their production leader for a certain game or whatever. But it's early in the season, but I'll hesitantly, I guess, for this game, take the Broncos if I had to pick. If you're going to, you know, lay money, this might be a stay away game for me, just because you just don't know. It's such a hard thing to figure out this early in the season, and the way both teams are playing, and with the injuries you factor in and all that, it's kind of hard for me to really be sure enough to give a bet where I would be confident that you could lay money down on. So again, maybe in terms of, you know, betting with, you know, actually laying down money, could be a stay away game. But in terms of my pick, if I had to, I would bet the Broncos money line. Another bet you probably could take here is some unders, maybe even first and second half unders. The total for the first half is 21.5 points. I think that could be actually a good bet to take, honestly. The under 21.5 for the first half seems like these two teams could get off to a more defensive start, and we may not see a lot of points between the two in the beginning. I also kind of like, in terms of player props, Russell Wilson's under for passing yards. I mean, I guess I could be kind of tricked here. You know, they're saying his shoulder's a little banged up, so that could affect his ability to throw, if I'm guessing, but maybe they're just saying that just as BS, and his shoulder could be fine and he could throw for whatever, his over. So we don't know, but I think that's one to keep an eye out for. And if Melvin Gordon is ready to play, he's going to be looked at as the guy for more offensive production. So then there could be more rushes as opposed to passing yards, so that could factor into his passing total. For Matt Ryan, he has an over of 230.5 passing yards. You know, like, I actually like Matt Ryan's over. He's shown that this season, you know, yeah, with fumbles and not a lot of success sometimes, but he can sling the ball. I don't think 230 yards is too much of a stretch for him. Just looking at his stats for the past, you know, 4 games or whatever, he's been able to hit a good amount of yardage. I guess that would depend, though, if they want to keep it away from the Broncos secondary and, you know, maybe run the ball more. But again, without Jonathan Taylor, I don't know how that changes. that one kind of 50-50 on, but just looking at passing yards, I would feel comfortable maybe just putting it in some kind of parlay where Matt Ryan has over 230 passing yards or 230 and a half passing yards. Interesting stat line that I got from DraftKings Sportsbook. The Colts have won the first quarter. So interesting stat line I have here is that the Colts have won the first quarter in each of their last 4 games as underdogs. So maybe you can put money on that as the Colts to be first quarter winners. That could be an interesting play to go with. But yeah, I mean, overall, my lasting thoughts on this game is that I have a feeling it could be low scoring. Again, sometimes you have that feeling because like the high profile names are in the game, but these are also kind of games where everyone thinks it's going to be low scoring, and then all of a sudden it becomes like a 35 to 32 game, or 36 to 32, whatever kind of high scoring game, and it's really the not really well-known players start to step up, like the Jelani Woods of each team. They'll step up and have really breakout games, because these are the moments where, right, like there's no Jonathan Taylor, so who is that next guy that's going to step up? Hopefully, they do get production again from Mo Alley-Cox, Pittman, all these people, and on the Broncos, right, like Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, like these guys who are expected to deliver, besides just like Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams and all that. So it could be one of those games where those guys step up, and who knows, right? Like it's been a pretty unpredictable season so far, but I just feel like from watching each of these teams' games, it could be a low scoring game. I don't expect it to be really a shootout, but my lasting thoughts here is that I think it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be low scoring, especially in the first half, and maybe it could open up a little bit in the second. We'll see. I could be completely wrong, because that's just the way it goes sometimes, but it'll be interesting regardless. I'm going to tune in and watch it and enjoy Thursday Night Football on Amazon. I do enjoy. It's actually really fun to watch on Amazon. They're presenting something new to the game, with their stat lines, and Al Michaels just really great. Kirk Herbstreit's awesome too. So it's really good to watch. It's a good experience to watch on Amazon. That's something that I'm pretty happy about so far in the season, is that they've had really great presentations and they've had good games so far. Good teams that have matched up against each other. So again, that's going to be the game for Thursday. I just think we also have, again, 2 teams that are battling injuries, inconsistencies, and they're both just trying to find out their own identity and how they can improve as a whole. But again, my pick, if I had to, Denver Broncos. I just think that this game is also a need to get their shit together kind of game, right? Take advantage of a situation where the Colts are a little bit underhanded, struggling a little bit there, and then these are kind of games really they show late in the season when teams need points. So we'll see how it goes for them, but that's going to be it just for today for this episode of Aledius Sports Talk for Thursday Night Football Preview. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Enjoy your Thursday Night Football game. Give it a watch on Amazon. Enjoy the different feeds they give you. Have a great time watching the game. I've been your host, Enrique Aledius. This has been Aledius Sports Talk. Thank you very much.